Yeah. You ain't see me activated. You better hope that you never see me agitated.
All right, so welcome back. Let's jump right in. Last time we talked a little bit about different text editors. We talked a little bit about VS Code and why I liked Writer. And today I just want to jump in and show you kind of like what that first little bit of code is going to look like, and why in particular that we actually are using the text editors that we do and what matters. And so I wanted to jump in just straight off the cuff. On Mac, we use TextEdit, and on Windows, we use Notepad for the same thing. But what it comes down to is if you do a search, so on Mac, that's Command Spacebar, and this finds things on your Mac. But you want to pull up TextEdit, and so then you'll have this TextEdit here in the iCloud area. And what we can do is we're going to create a new document, and then we're going to take this new document and we're just going to create our very first little bit of code here. And so this one is called the document declaration, and we're telling the browser, right, the thing that's going to be reading this file, what to expect, what kind of HTML to expect. And so this is HTML5. And then what is required for the basic document to exist is, first of all, an HTML tag. And so this is an opening tag, and then we have our closing tag. And I'm going to go into the elements here soon, so don't worry about this stuff and understanding it fully now. Just understand that this is kind of like the basics of how the document works. So this one up here is an opening and a closing, and what we need is in there head element, and so we're going to have that, and then we're also going to have a body. Now notice that those are inside of the HTML element. The head, we're going to put a title, and this is kind of sloppy right now on purpose. And in the title, we're going to say my first document, if you're following along here. And then in the body, we're going to open that up, and we're going to put an H1 that says hello world. Close it out, and we'll just put a little paragraph. My first paragraph. Probably shouldn't have put those all uppercase, but that's okay. Okay. So this little bit of code here, right here. Before you do anything else, you want to go into TextEdit, hit those preferences. For those people on Mac, for Windows, you don't really need to do anything. You're just going to save the document in the same way that I'm going to tell these guys over here to save it. So, but if you're on Mac, you want to go into the preferences of TextEdit, and then click on plain text as the new document. Use that format, and then under the Open Save tab, you want to click Display HTML Files as HTML code instead of formatted text. And so you get those both set up, and then Command S will give us the save option, or Control S for Windows users. And we're going to change the extension on the back of this as well. And pretty much all of our stuff is going to start out with index.html, and that's the file extension that we want to use. If no extension is provided, use txt. That one's going to be text. We want an HTML file, and so when I click save, make sure you use the HTML. And then we can close that out. Click on text edit again to bring it up, and then you can show it in Finder, and you can kind of find where it is. And then you can open with, and then use any kind of app. You can, if it automatically opens for you with Google Chrome, great. But if not, then you want to use Google Chrome if you downloaded that browser. And here we go. So this is our very first document. It says hello world, my first paragraph, and it says my first document right at the top. So that, oops, let's go back to TextEdit if we can. Let's see. So let's open this up. And so you can see that this title here, my first document, is right up here in the tab. And then that is the head element. And then the body element has a paragraph, my first paragraph right there, and an H1 that says hello world, which is a heading one that says hello world right there. And that's all inside of the HTML, which this signifies that we're about to enter that document, which is an HTML5 document. And so that's the basics of how a piece of code is going to break down and actually get it onto your computer. This is local, so nobody across a different computer, I can't say, hey, go to this website and check out my little hello world document. It doesn't work that way. So don't get too excited that you can send this off and show too many people unless they're in the same room with you. But that said, you can do that. Now, I'm closing out the text edit, and now I'm going into Writer. And what I want to do is I'm going to kind of close this for a second and just open up a new program. So I want to do this so you guys can see, ultimately, let's see here. I can create a new folder and call it my favorite project or whatever you want to call it. And what we're going to do is go find that inside of Writer. So we're going to go inside of Writer. Did I close that out? Oh, it's opening. Give it a sec here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to open and we're going to find where we put that thing, which is my favorite project. We're going to open it up. Boom. So it took me a minute to figure this out in Writer, as silly as it sounds, but just like how to actually create a file and pull in the right things. So now we have my favorite project up here in the File Explorer in the system, the file system in the Explorer. And what we can do is minimize this stuff for now. And in that folder, we can add an HTML file, HTML5, and we're going to name it index.html. Boom, here it is. And look at that. It comes with those basic things that I just showed you. Doc type, HTML, HTML English. So this is the HTML tag. And you can see it's surrounding the head tag here and the body tag. And the body doesn't have the H1 that we had in it. But here's the beauty and why I wanted you to see it this way is because now if I have an H1, I can just tab and say hello world. Oops. And then go paragraph. And then I can put some lorem text, which I'll explain to you later on. Whoops. And then it's automatically going to save. And then from here, instead of going and finding it in my document window, I can actually just pop up here and it's going to load it into the browser for me. And we've got hello world with the lorem ipsum text. Again, I'll go into that here in a little while, but it was much easier to do this than it was to do anything else. And even if I had to start from scratch, even better, they have a better version of that where I can hit exclamation mark and it'll bring up and give me all the basic stuff that I should be using, which again we'll go into. And then I can say, my awesome document, and I can go, H1. Hello world, and then oops, hit too many buttons there. All right, and then maybe lorem 10 for just 10 characters or 10 words rather. And now I can pop back out. Boom. And now I've only got 10 of the lorem ipsum text. But that's it. I mean, it's like so easy to pop in here and go from scratch up to what we did, which took much longer out on the text edit app. And if you've got, again, Windows, and you pop into Notepad and you look and do the same kind of thing, save it with the .html extension, and then find it in your Windows Explorer, and then File Explorer, and then open it onto your favorite browser, which is preferably Chrome for these purposes. But if you're able to do that, then you're able to see exactly what we went through for that whole process versus this whole process. And VS Code is just the same. So when we get back, I'll go back to my other file here and we'll start actually getting into the real coding. But that's it for this one. I appreciate you coming around, and I'll catch you the next one. See you.